Howdy again, folks. Welcome back to some more songs and stories of the Old West. Well, we've been on the cattle drive, and we're coming to about the end of the drive now, And the end of the drive was a tough part for the boys. When they saw the railhead town, they got excited and they wanted to just get rid of the whole thing and bust loose and have some fun, and get paid, But they faced the most frustrating part of the journey because most of the time the cattle had to be driven through the town to get to the rail yards. And this was a problem because the combination of cowboys itching to bust loose and cattle easily spooked by sudden appearance of buildings and people after a long trip on the prairie, why it could be causing a catastrophe, In fact, one time an elderly lady caused a horrendous stampede that made hundreds of dollars of damage when she snapped her apron at a longhorn that was taking a bite out of her rose bush. Well, with any luck, the cattle were finally settled in the holding pens, waiting for the arrival of the cattle buyers, and it was time to get rid of the longhorns and load them onto the cattle cars to be shipped back to Chicago. Well, this had to be done very carefully, because the long horns of the cattle could poke holes in the other cows, and you didn't want that, Quite often, a fellow was hired to ride in the cattle cars all the way from Kansas to Chicago, holding a long stick, poking the cows so they didn't poke each other. And this fellow was called a cowpoke. And it was a job nobody wanted. And so the term cowpoke became an insult. So if you ever meet a cowboy, don't call him a cowpoke. Yeah. Well, nobody was sad to say goodbye to the cattle. They'd been nothing but an aggravating responsibility the whole time. But at the end of the drive, the horses were sold too. And this is a different matter. Many a rough, tough cowboy got to have a real affection for his favorite mount with whom he'd shared so many dangers and excitement on the trail, Well, they shed a tear as the horses was led off. Well, with the cattle and horses off their hand, the men became as light-headed as schoolboys on the last day of school. It was time to get paid and have a good time. So the way it worked was the trail boss made $100 to $125 a month. The cook made $50 to $75 a month. And the cowboys made $25 to $30 a month. And I got more to tell you, but I'm going to have to leave you with a song because I'm running out of time. Coming back. Come on back for more songs and stories.